Patrick Mahomes stands at the heart of a dynasty, teetering between brilliance and chaos, riddled with injuries, surprise breakout stars, and bold trade whispers. As Kansas City braces for another stormy NFL summer, an electrifying saga unfolds, one that will challenge loyalties, demand evolution, and ultimately determine whether the Chiefs can prolong their championship dominance or crumble under the strain of a rapidly evolving roster. From Isaiah Pacheco's uphill resurgence to a rookie lineman's miraculous rehab, from a forgotten wideout turning heads to explosive trade murmurs and the tantalizing prospect of acquiring a generational tight end, let's dive into the seismic shifts reshaping Kansas City. But before we unpack the drama, could I ask a quick favor? If you enjoy our content, please hit that like button. It's a simple gesture that fuels this community. Blaka, thank you kindly. Isaiah Pacheco, a comeback or a curtain call? Fans still replay the electrifying flashes from Pacheco's early days in Kansas City, his razor-sharp cuts, relentless drive through loaded fronts, and clutch fourth-quarter bursts that propelled back-to-back AFC title runs. But in 2024, that once unrelenting force cracked under the weight of injuries and attrition. A nagging knee injury sidelined him for half the season, casting a shadow over his promising ascent. His return sparked cautious hope, a shot at rekindling the fire that produced 830 yards and 5 scores as a rookie, followed by an even more explosive 935 yards, 7-touchdown campaign in 2023. But every carry lacked its old electricity. He limped to just 310 yards and 1 touchdown, a stat line almost unrecognizable. Enter Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, whose latest bombshell ignited Chiefs Kingdom. Kansas City's leading rusher in 2025 may not currently be on the roster. Orr's forecast is driven not by spite, but by sharp analytics. The 2025 running back class is stacked, deeper and more dynamic than previous years, potentially triggering a post-camp free agent frenzy. Orr believes Kansas City will dive into that pool, seeking fresh firepower rather than wagering on Pacheco's return to form. It's not a slight, it's strategic insurance. Will the Chiefs double down on their homegrown bruiser or hedge their bets with outside competition? Their decision will define not just Pacheco's future, but the identity of the entire offense. Josh Simmons, the silent guardian in waiting. On paper, the Chiefs' O-line looked formidable, even after parting with Joe Thuney. But in reality, Mahomes' blind side begged for reinforcement. That's why Kansas City traded up for Ohio State's Josh Simmons at no 22, a move that screamed urgency. Towering at 6'5", 317 pounds, Simmons was once hailed as a future cornerstone until a devastating torn patellar tendon during the college football playoff cast doubt on his draft stock, but the injury allowed him to slip into Kansas City's grasp. At OTAs, Coach Andy Reid was visibly impressed. He's ahead of schedule, he said, eyes gleaming. Simmons isn't taking full reps yet, but the plan is meticulous, build his confidence in individual drills, then unleash him against elite defenders like Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. ESPN's Adam Teicher recently declared if Simmons is healthy, he's your week 1 starter at left tackle. That means veteran Jalen Moore, signed as an insurance policy, might never crack the huddle. For Simmons, it's a trial by fire and a chance to become the immovable object shielding Kansas City's greatest asset. Tyquan Thornton, from forgotten to flashy, even in a star-studded receiver room, featuring marquees Hollywood, Brown, Rashee Rice, Juju Smith-Schuster, and rookie sensation Xavier Worthy. Chiefs coaches continue to chase hidden gems. On a blazing Thursday afternoon, one emerged. Tyquan Thornton, the former Baylor burner, once a second-round pick by New England, stole the spotlight with 2 jaw-dropping catches at OTAs that left defenders flailing. He was everywhere, tweeted Pete Sweeney. Thornton's NFL journey has been turbulent. Flashes of brilliance drowned in injuries and inconsistency, but his collegiate finale, 62 receptions, 948 yards, 10 TDs, is a reminder of his true ceiling. With 5 WR slots seemingly locked, Thornton could force his way into the 6th if his OTA surge carries through camp and into preseason. The window is narrow, but the spotlight is his, for now. Breece Hall, the trade that could flip the division. When the Chiefs waited until pick no. 228 to draft running back Brazard Smith, fans sensed a storm brewing. Whispers of a blockbuster trade swirled, and one name kept resurfacing: Breece Hall. Connor Orr doubled down, suggesting Hall could be on the block as the Jets struggle with contract decisions. And Kansas City, a prime destination. Hall's rookie campaign dazzled, 5.8 yards per carry. His sophomore season, a monster 1,585 total yards. But in year 3, under Aaron Rodgers' pass-heavy offense, he regressed. Now the Jets have drafted Armand Mu and face looming salary cap decisions. Hall might be expendable. And Kansas City's revamped O-line could be the perfect launchpad for his next chapter. Imagine it. Mahomes under center, faking the throw, Hall slicing through daylight, defenses gasping, divisions shifting. The price? Possibly a mid-round pick. The payoff? Potentially monumental. Kyle Pitts, the heir to Kelce's throne? Dynasties don't rest, and with Travis Kelce inching toward the twilight of his legendary career, the Chiefs are eyeing the future. Enter Kyle Pitts. The 24-year-old enigma whose misutilization in Atlanta has sparked league-wide intrigue. Rice's rookie campaign in 2023 wasn't just solid, it was spectacular. The second-round pick burst onto the scene and immediately rewrote the record books. 7 receiving touchdowns and 79 receptions as a rookie. That's not padding stats in garbage time. Those are clutch, momentum-shifting plays in high-stakes moments. What makes Rice such a threat isn't just his glue-like hands, it's his football intelligence, surgical route running, and uncanny ability to exploit soft spots in coverage. He makes elite defenders look ordinary. And Mahomes thrives when he has trustworthy weapons, and Rice is exactly that. He creates separation, wins contested battles, and turns routine catches into explosive gains. And he's surrounded by a receiving corps that's quietly becoming one of the most lethal in the NFL. Marquise Hollywood Brown brings blazing speed and veteran savvy. Juju Smith-Schuster offers grit, clutch instincts, and championship pedigree. Xavier Worthy is already flashing brilliance as a rookie. And Jalen Royals, the 4th-round gem, adds dynamic depth and untapped potential. But Rice is the crown jewel, the potential WR1 who can be the engine of this offense. He's not just talking big, he's exuding belief. He's been vocal about how this group is going to be explosive and light up the scoreboard. And you can feel it. It's not just swagger, it's certainty backed by talent. When you combine Rice's deep threat ability, Worthy's speed, Brown's experience, and Juju's consistency, you're looking at a nightmare matchup for defensive coordinators week after week. Let's not forget, the Chiefs were this close to making NFL history last year, falling just short of a three-peat after a tough loss to Philadelphia. That stung bad. The Eagles exposed a few cracks, the lack of consistent big plays, and some heartbreaking drops in critical moments. But now, with Rice back, rejuvenated, and ready to dominate, the Chiefs are reloading for another title run. But as last season showed us, even elite dynasties must adapt or fall behind. The issues that plagued Kansas City's offense weren't flukes or bad luck. They were glaring data-backed weaknesses that simply couldn't be ignored. The Chiefs ranked 27th in the league in explosive plays per dropback, managing to gain more than 15 yards only 6.2% of the time. That's not championship-caliber production, especially for a team with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. The only teams worse in that category, the Browns, Giants, Patriots, Dolphins, and Bears, all of whom were watching the playoffs from their couches. But the numbers get more alarming. Just 6.7 yards per attempt, firmly in the league's lower tier. Only 42 passing plays of 20-plus yards, 6th worst in the NFL. And only 4 passing plays of 40-plus yards, tied for 2nd worst in the entire league. Their longest pass of the season, a modest 54 yards, 3rd worst league-wide. Stats like that don't win rings. They get coordinators fired and postseason dreams shattered. But here's why Rashee Rice changes the equation entirely. This young phenom has a rare blend of explosiveness, precision, and football IQ. He can turn a 5-yard slant into a 50-yard sprint. He separates deep downfield. He improvises when plays break down, and that is exactly the kind of player Kansas City was sorely missing last season. The chemistry he shares with Mahomes, it was already forming in those first 4 games before the injury. Timing, trust, rhythm, all showing flashes of something truly special. And while Mahomes has elevated many receivers, Rice is one of the few with the talent to elevate Mahomes right back. That kind of mutual synergy is how you build dynasties, break records, and win Super Bowls. See, when you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you've scaled the NFL summit multiple times, every decision is scrutinized under a microscope, like an insect pinned in a lab. Every draft pick, every free agent signing, every trade, it all matters because the margin for error narrows to razor-thin levels when you're trying to sustain greatness. And that's precisely where we find ourselves today, discussing a move that could define the next decade of Chiefs football. The 2025 NFL Draft came and went, and while most fans were laser-focused on the flashy top picks, something intriguing was brewing down at pick number 32. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pick 32? That's just the last pick of the first round. What's the big deal? Let me tell you, that mindset is exactly why so many people miss the forest for the trees when it comes to constructing championship rosters. True dynasties aren't built on just the top 5 picks that everybody obsesses over on social media. They're forged in the fire of identifying hidden gems where others see risk, spotting raw talent where others see question marks, and having the guts to make bold decisions when the stakes are sky high. And that's precisely what Kansas City did when they stepped up to the podium and announced their selection. The name that echoed through the draft was Josh Simmons, an offensive tackle from Ohio State University. Now, before you roll your eyes and mutter, another offensive lineman, how thrilling, let me break down why this pick could either be the steal of the draft or the haunting misstep that shadows this franchise for years. First off, let's talk about what Ohio State has been producing lately in the trenches. We're talking about a veritable factory of NFL-ready talent. These aren't just big bodies filling space. They're polished, technically sound, fundamentally disciplined players who grasp the intricacies of pass protection and run blocking at the elite level. When you see that Ohio State logo next to a lineman's name, you'd better sit up straight. History shows that Columbus knows how to mold linemen into pros. But here's where it gets truly fascinating, and I need y'all to lock in because this is critical to understanding the gravity of this pick. Josh Simmons wasn't supposed to be on the board at pick 32. Hell, most draft experts graded him as a top 10 talent. Some even put him in the top 5. So what went wrong? How did a player with that kind of pedigree slip all the way to the tail end of the first round? The answer is one word that strikes terror into the hearts of general managers, coaches, and fans alike: injuries. Evaluating talent in the NFL isn't just about what a player can do when they're healthy. It's about projecting what they can contribute over the course of a grueling, punishing NFL career. And when you're a championship caliber team like Kansas City, every detail counts. Simmons had been battling injury concerns that caused scouts and front offices to pause. Questions that didn't necessarily take him off the board, but certainly forced teams to weigh the risk against the potential reward. And that's exactly the kind of high-stakes calculus that separates championship organizations from perennial underachievers. Now let's talk about Kansas City's specific situation, because context in the NFL is everything. The Chiefs have faced questions along their offensive line, particularly at the... Listen up, Chiefs Kingdom. Y'all think you know what's next for your beloved red and gold? Think again. This franchise just pulled a move that sent shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape, and I'm here to unpack exactly why this decision could propel Kansas City into an unstoppable dynasty or leave them vulnerable to a dramatic fall. Don't you dare scroll past this. Watch every second of this breakdown. Smash that like button. Drop a W in the comments if you believe in the Chiefs, or an L if you've lost faith. And hit that subscribe button because what I'm about to reveal will forever transform how you see this team's future. Despite his 2,651 career receiving yards and 10 touchdowns, Pitts has yet to reach his full potential. Falcons OC Zach Robinson admitted as much, questioning his consistency in detail. With his fifth-year option approaching, Atlanta risks losing him for nothing. For a team like Kansas City, obsessed with speed, mismatches, and creative chaos, Pitts could be the perfect torchbearer. He can block, split out wide, and terrorize zones with Mahomes threading dimes. This isn't just about replacing Kelce, it's about extending the dynasty. At 24, Pitts has the upside, paired with Mahomes' prime and Reed's genius. This could be a generational marriage. Patrick Mahomes was sacked 6 times, a brutal indictment of a line that buckled when it mattered most. That collapse didn't just end their dream of a historic three-peat, it sent the front office back to the drawing board. Last season, the offensive line conceded 41 sacks, placing them 16th in the NFL. Not catastrophic, but far from championship caliber when your franchise rides on the shoulders of football's ultimate talisman. Mahomes is the lifeblood of this dynasty. Keeping him upright isn't a priority, it's a mandate. So the Chiefs didn't tiptoe into free agency, they plunged in headfirst. Their marquee splash? A 2-year, $30 million 0 cents pact with Moore. On paper, it looked ambitious. In reality, fans are already experiencing buyer's remorse. Drafted in the 5th round in 2021 by San Francisco, Moore spent 4 seasons as a reserve, logging just 12 starts as a swing tackle. His 2024 cameo, 5 starts at left tackle, sparked just enough optimism to lure Kansas City into overpaying. Whether they unearthed an overlooked gem or hastily patched a chronic issue, shelling out $30 million, 0 cents, for a glorified backup raised eyebrows across the league. Then came the 2025 NFL Draft, where Kansas City doubled down by selecting Ohio State's Josh Simmons in the 1st round, their presumed long-term answer at left tackle. With Simmons recovering from a knee injury, Moore will man Mahomes' blindside to open the season. But once the rookie is cleared for action, Moore's starting gig and relevance could vanish overnight. If he falters, Moore could become the league's most expensive clipboard holder. His $11,200,000 0 cents cap hit this season swells to $18,700,000 0 cents in 2026. That's a steep tab for someone with just 5 quality starts on his resume. The contract offers an off-ramp. Cut him after 1 year, absorb $10,700,000 0 cents in dead cap, and recoup $8 million 0 cents. Not ideal, but far better than total disaster. The Chiefs rolled the dice that Moore's brief success hinted at hidden upside, not a fluke. But if Simmons proves the real deal, Kansas City may pull the plug on Moore's deal much sooner than expected. In today's NFL, protecting your quarterback is the gold standard, and this gamble could unravel under the weight of expectation. While the offensive line situation stirs anxiety, the front office hedged their bets by bringing back a familiar playmaker, Marquise Hollywood Brown. As he said, "We don't do 20 weeks." Despite last season's painful finale, the Chiefs roster remains largely intact. Their offseason strategy prioritized continuity over overhaul, and one reunion in particular raised eyebrows. Brown entered 2024 as one of the league's premier vertical threats, but a preseason shoulder injury sidelined him until December, prompting many to assume the team would move on. Instead, Kansas City reunited with the speedster on a 1-year, $7 million 0 cents deal, and that decision is already bearing fruit. Mahomes is rekindling the chemistry that once made this duo electric. When you've already built a rapport with someone, you don't need a ramp up. Mahomes shared at minicamp. Hollywood, Worthy, Rashid, Juju, they're putting in the work. We revisit old plays, and that familiarity sharpens everything. It's the same rhythm Travis, Kelce, and I thrive on. The message is clear. Chemistry creates efficiency. Last season's air attack sputtered. Mahomes posted his lowest passing yards, 3,928, YPA 6.8, and TDs since becoming a starter in 2018. Injuries to Brown and Rice disrupted timing, reps, and momentum. Now, with Brown healthy, that aerial engine is poised to roar back to life. In 2024, Brown was limited to just 9 receptions for 91 yards in the regular season and 5 more for 50 scoreless yards in the playoffs. Still, his career average of 11.6 yards per reception is a testament to the explosive threat he remains. He may not be Tyreek Hill, but Hollywood Brown still stretches defenses in ways that command attention. His vertical prowess opens the field for every weapon in Kansas City's arsenal and sets the stage for another relentless pursuit of the Lombardi Trophy. Thank you, guys.